Politico broke a very revealing story that should get under the skin of liberals and progressives. Listen to this. They say, Hillary Clinton's supporters in recent days have been making a furious round of calls to top Bush family donors to try to convince them that she represents their values better than Donald Trump. Multiple sources in both parties told Politico. The moves come as Clinton and the Democratic Party try to take advantage of deep unease among establishment Republicans on Wall Street and elsewhere with Trump's emergence as the presumptive Republican nominee. So, you got that right. You heard it. The Clinton campaign and her surrogates and her people, they're like, I got it. Because there's so many people are uneasy with Trump being the Republican nominee, how about we go to them and say, we represent your values, great. And she's talking about Bush donors. And they go on to give specifics. They say, for example, a former top Jeb Bush donor. You got Hillary's people calling them like, you know that she's with you, right? You know that she's on your side. And they make clear to mention here, we're talking mostly on Wall Street. So Republican donors on Wall Street who, she can waltz in and say, okay, hey, we might not agree totally on social issues. We don't. But when it comes to Wall Street, am I with you? You bet your ass I am. So this should be embarrassing, but I feel like the Hillary campaign at this point, they're just shameless. Because Bernie Sanders has been calling them out from day one and embarrassing them from day one. And not only do they take it on the chin, she then turns around and continues to do Wall Street fundraisers as Bernie is still out there saying she's doing Wall Street fundraisers. Look at her. She can't help herself. She can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. So that's where we're at right now. Now, I want to get to my favorite part of the article because this is so telling. Quote, one big Clinton donor on Wall Street said that Bush donors are prime targets and that wear a big tent. Oh, God, does that hurt? This is the same line that Debbie Wasserman Schultz used, where, when Jordan Chariton, TYT's reporter, was talking to her and saying, yeah, okay, I get it, but what about the whole, you guys taking a shitload of money from Wall Street stuff? Don't you think that there's going to be influence peddling there and that people do favoritism and look out for the people who give them money? And her response was, but we're a Big Ten party. So we're a Big Ten party, therefore we love corruption too. We have such a big tent that corruption is in our tent. And, we embrace that fully. Well, that's the point she's making. Yeah, former Bush family donors, yeah, we're going to call them and tell them we represent them because we're a big tent party. Why would you want those people in your fucking tent? Why would you want that? I don't want them in my tent. Get the fuck out of my tent. It's like, why would you want your tent to be so big that it encapsulates bad people? I want my tent to be so big that, sure, we have people who believe in social democracy, but also some fascists. Why would you want them in your tent? You shouldn't want them in your tent because that's a reflection on you. And they're calling them and begging them and saying, hey, look, we're going to look out for you, man. You're on Wall Street. And then the best line on this is actually from Andrew Perez on Twitter. He said the following, funny, Clinton's allies aren't plotting her appeal to Sanders' small dollar donors, but to Wall Street execs. Oh, that is exactly correct. And it is massively disheartening because she had the opportunity, man. She was asked the question by Maddow in a recent debate, or I should say town hall, like, okay, what are you going to do to reach out to the disaffected Bernie voters who aren't on your side? And her response was, I have more votes than him. I have more votes than him. Okay, but what are you going to do to try to get them on board? And she says, well, in 2008, I had no preconditions and I supported Barack Obama. That's the right thing to do. I hope Bernie will do the same. So in other words, I'm not going to do dick for you. I'm not going to do anything for you. You better just vote for me. If you're in the progressive base, that's how they think of you. If you're a true liberal, if you're a true progressive, it's this smug attitude like obviously you're going to vote for me. What else are you going to do? So she doesn't think about you. She doesn't care about you. She doesn't worry about you at all. And then who does she turn and actually try to woo? Bush donors. Republicans on Wall Street who she says, I represent your values better than Trump does. In other words, I'm going to sell out even more to Wall Street than Trump will. It's like, honestly, when I read this stuff, I think it's like she's trying to lose the general election. But you know what it is? It really is that arrogance and that certitude and that pomposity that everybody's been telling her from day one. It's a cakewalk against Trump. It ain't going to be a cakewalk against Trump. I'm telling you that right now. I've said it from the beginning. It's not going to be a cakewalk, especially when you treat your base, real progressives and liberals, the way you do. And then you shamelessly try to court people in the country who are the biggest enemies of what your ideology should be. But that's the thing. It's not the ideology you actually have, because you kind of actually do agree with those people. So here she is yet again showing her true colors.